Good day. Welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. Eric Gross, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo. Belated New Year's greetings.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, Eric,
Good.
and all the best in 2020. Imagine 2020.
2020. Who would have ever thunk?
I know. It is absolutely amazing how quick time goes.
But it's going to be a very challenging year in the Mahopac schools with state aid numbers coming out the other day, skewed the wrong way. But with some exciting news we're going to be talking about as well. Kindergarten programs coming up, kindergarten registration. We have a STEAM fair that's going to knock your socks off. Anthony and I visited that the other day. But let's just get back to this whole issue of state aid. We understand you're on a conference call, spoke to State Senator Harckham and numerous other people.
Yeah, so we're on the phone today with Senator Harckham and his chief of staff.
Mm-hmm.
So as you know, and as we all know, the governor vetoed our amnesty bill. And it's twofold.
Mm-hmm.
It's revenue that we're not getting in regards to state aid, and now it's money we have to pay back. So we're already starting our budget cycle this year, you know, with a pretty substantial payback that we have to look for and how do we get to that. So here's what I can tell the public that we're really, really going to try as hard as we can. As you know, Eric, and you've been with me for the past 2 years, believe it or not, next week, it's going to be almost going on my third year. We've really started to put back programs that were cut for those 10 years.
Right.
I do not, and the board does not want to have to now take a step backwards. So what we are looking at is every single aspect of the school district and things that we may be able to do without and not impact program and or staffing.
Okay.
We want to try to keep our class sizes the way they are. We want to continue the initiatives and the programs that we're doing. You know, we put programs back in over the last couple of years. We don't have to want to take them back. However, with that being said, I have an update from Senator Harckham. So last week, out of the Senate committee,
Right.
they put all the districts that are in the same situation we are, they put that bill in the actual operating state budget. So now that goes to the governor's office. What does that mean? That means, like anything else, there's horse trading when you're in a budget cycle, right? So they're going to fight to keep that in.
Right.
Because if then the budget passes on April 1st and that's in the budget, we're done. We're good.
Okay.
So that's option one.
Okay.
Option two would be like we did last year. If it gets taken out of the budget and not in the budget, it would have to go through both houses of legislators, meaning the Assembly and then the Senate,
Right.
and then back to the governor in the fall, and he could decide to either veto it again or pass it. So those are the options that we're now looking at. Of course, we would love the first option, that it stays
Sure,
in the budget,
sure.
it gets passed, and then we're good. So we have to develop this budget on the worst case scenario, that we're not going to be getting state aid and we have to pay back the years that we receive state aid. So that's the piece that we're on. And what's really important about this to everybody in the Mahopac community, as we go through the budget process and we have our meetings, parents, it's going to be really important that you get out there and talk about what your needs and wants are. With that also being said, Eric, you know, we have to look at what our cap allowance is, right?
Right.
So how far and how up can we go to our cap allowance and still stay within that 1.81? And that's another issue, Eric, that it's not 2%, it's 1.81, which is a CPI, which is lower. That's already making us start off in a deficit model. So, you know, we're really, really working hard. Literally, we knew this in the fall after the governor vetoed. So we've really been working with my central office team, with the building principals, with department chairs, into seeing what areas we can cut to really not impact the progress that we've made over the last 2 years. But it's going to be a very, very difficult process. It's not going to be easy at all.
You know, the governor likes to wear jackets. Can't you send him a Mahopac High School football jacket? Hey, go.
We're going to be going up. So we are going up to actually meet with the governor's budget person,
Right.
myself, the senator, and Sandra Clossi, and talk about this amount of money will impact the Mahopac School District in these ways,
Yeah.
so that they really understand that although they think it's not significant, it's very, very significant, and will have a major impact on us for the 2021 school year and for school years moving forward.
Because again, as we've said so many times in the past, it was an innocent error. It wasn't anything criminal in any way. It was one of those things, it was an oversight.
And that's the upsetment.
Yeah.
I mean, so my responsibility is, once I became aware of it, to report it.
Well, we
And which
did.
we did.
Yeah.
And again, it was nobody that was here. It probably was just an oversight, and to hold a district and a community, responsible for something that happened in a clerical error, and they were honest about it and transparent. But we have to work through it.
Yeah.
We will work through it
Okay.
and see what we have to be able
All
to
right,
do.
that's the latest. Another situation developed this week where the governor delivered his budget address, and then they call it the school runs. These come out of the governor's office, and you look up Putnam County, and you see Mahopac schools minus $3 million.
Yeah, so that's the first run. So
Yeah.
they do a second run, and so what happens is sometimes there's a lag in some of the reporting that goes on. And one of the big things that did not roll into this is our transportation aid. So which is close to that number. So we're probably going to be relatively flat. And if you look at the governor's proposal, Eric, the monies are going to the high needs district across the state.
Right.
So it's the districts that are seeing increased enrollment, seeing more needs in second language learners. That's where the bodice of, and that was in his speech, that's where the bodice of the money is going. So, it's relatively flat in regards to the aid that we're going to be getting from the state.
Okay, stay tuned, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, it's February next
Yeah.
week. Super Bowl Sunday is next
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So we're going to be getting that cycle, and we again need to stay tuned. And as we go through spotlights, we'll be updating the public as to where
Great.
we are.
Time to register your children for kindergarten, the class of 2032.
Oh my gosh!
You talk about 2020.
I know.
Class of
Yeah,
2032.
and it's really important that people that are out there who have children who are of age to come into the Mahopac Central School District, please come to register. It's on the website. There's a variety of different dates for different schools to be able to come in. It's starting this week. It runs through February, towards the end of February. What's really important about this, everybody, is we want to get as accurate the numbers as we can, because that's sections for kindergarten, and that really has an impact on the budget.
Right, the registrations, by the way, take place at the fall school.
Right here, right in the
Yeah.
building that we are today, the fall school with Ellen, correct.
Okay.
Who, by the way, is bilingual, so, which is really, really a great piece to our skill set, and having Ellen be able to work through that.
Any questions? 621-0656, 621-0656, extension 13506. But again, if your children are eligible, make sure they're registered. Very, very important. Eighth graders in Mahopac work with the younger boys and girls about pollution. This is something that's affects all
Yeah,
of
I
us.
mean, listen, at the end of the day, when you talk about air pollution, you talk about water pollution, I think the sooner that we can get students, preschoolers, to understand about the importance of taking care of their environment, it will stead them right through into adulthood. And it's so important that the earlier on that we can do that, about them understanding it to the best of their ability developmentally, and trying to make sure they begin to recycle, to try to talk about how certain things are harmful in the air, and to be able to work together to, pick up garbage, to put garbage in the right containers, whether it's plastic or glass or garbage. It really, really goes a long, long way. And how important that is as they get older, and it's going to be their air they're breathing and their water they're swimming in, and those type of things, which are so important to all of us.
You talk about bringing it down to their level. The clean team versus the garbage gang.
Yeah, and they base it on
Yeah.
superheroes, about getting out and doing that kind of work, which I think is great, and it's a great partnership that we have with our preschool programs.
Mahopac High, one of the leading schools when it comes to graduation rates. The state put a report out just the other day talking about graduation rates at the county's high schools. Mahopac, 96%. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a tribute to the work that we've done in all our programs across the board, but specifically in the area of special education, because of the inclusion classes and support classes that we have at the high school. We have more and more of our students graduating with, distinction diplomas and being able to meet all those criterias. So that's why you're seeing those numbers go up, and we're very, very, very proud of that. Very proud of that.
Careless drivers still every parent's. What are
I
you
actually
doing?
saw a
Not-
video. I actually saw a video that the transportation department shared with me. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time. It's February next week, Eric.
Yep.
You know what the times are that buses are on the road.
Right. They're not going to
Please,
change.
I know, but the problem is there are so many close calls, and I have to really tell you what's going to wind up happening. They passed a law with the new devices, the arms,
Yeah.
but they're not working that well. You know, when the
Really?
first time out of the box, a lot of districts are having issues with it. So I'm glad we didn't go out and initially do it. They are very hard to read, the license plates, so they're kind of recalibrating them. And it's a local law. So I know that Mary Ellen is looking at it.
Yeah.
I know we're looking at it in the future because I think it's going to become something that's really, really important. And let me tell you, you get caught, it is going to be a hefty financial burden and fine because you're jeopardizing the
It should be.
safety and well-being, and it really
Yeah.
should be. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's very frightening about what goes on, very, very much so. So please, again, local residents, you know the time the buses run, high school, middle, and elementary. You got to be patient. You really, really have to be patient. Because if it was your child that was getting off a bus and had a close call, or God forbid got hit, you'd be up in arms about it.
The latest numbers, again, frightening. 91,000 cases a day across the United States where people passed out
Yeah,
moving
it's-
school buses. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know, it's frightening. I mean, you think about it. I mean, there's so many things that we talk about.
Of
People
course.
behind a wheel in a rush,
Yeah.
and they're on a cell phone or they're doing texting and whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you're behind the wheel. You need to be focusing on the road.
The STEAM fair at the Mayapack Middle School, unbelievable experiments these young people have put together.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it on the middle school level. We have the elementary schools come visit on the Friday before, and then we open it up to the public. And what was really profound last year, Eric, we have students, not just from Mayapack coming to attend, we have students that go to other schools but live in Mayapack. And I came across a number of parents last year, specifically 8th grade parents who kids go to other schools who I will not name, but seeing the fair and what's going on in sciences, actually a couple of parents said, you know what? Wow, these are great things. I think my son or daughter is going to come back to Mayapack High School next year. So these are the type of things that people are seeing that are going on in our classrooms with science, technology, engineering, and math. And of course, in our bond, that new Project Lead the Way Center
Yep.
that's going to be at the high school is, you know, going to be cutting edge. So we're really excited about the work that goes into that. And you look at all of the job opportunities. Computer scientists,
Yeah.
13,000 jobs unfilled in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, and coding. These are the type of jobs. And remember, schools are getting kids ready for college and
Right.
career readiness.
That's right.
That's why, you know, STEAM education is such an important part of what we do here at Mayapack.
Anthony and Guy, I'm going to pause. We're going to go over, check out the fair. We'll be right back right here on Spotlight on Mayapack Schools.
To get into the owl pellet itself. And use the charts
This
too.
is a skull. Is this a skull? It's hard.
If you want to break it apart with your hands too, it makes it a little bit easier.
Have you found how many different animals have you found?
Now I'm gonna put it. This is regular bland water without salt. You can put yours in.
Dylan, what do we have going on there?
This is my friend's Adam. Oh.
Was straight ahead.
Hi.
Pero más o menos 80 grados, 85, 90, ¿sí? Mucho. Muy interesante.
We're gonna add about 100. We're gonna go up to 50, right?
Not too much water, so it wouldn't get all mushy.
All right. So we're gonna go up to there, right? And now we're gonna pour this into the bag. Do you guys want to pour it in? All right. Be careful, okay? All right. Do it this way, okay? Taking it in. There you go. All right.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Well, the big day has arrived at the Mayapack Middle School. We're talking about STEAM Fair. Tom Kazacria, the principal of the Mayapack Middle School. What a celebration.
It really is. It's one of the best days of the year for Mayapack Middle School. Miss Kishak and Miss Fox do an excellent job. It's been going on for several years now, and it just keeps growing more and more each year, and some great ideas come out of this each year.
Ladies, what is the STEAM Fair?
It is a celebration of all of the subject areas and how they're all interconnected with one another. And so we hope to really go ahead and represent each of those letters in STEAM here today. So do you want to say what the...
And we
yeah.
do that by having wonderful activities that focus on science and technology and engineering and art and math. And we have these activities in the back that students of our middle school have really spent a lot of time creating to represent those facets of STEAM.
Do the students actually contact you and say, we want to do something about X, Y, Z, or do they just come up with their own ideas?
They, for the most part, come up with their own ideas, but we do sort of help them along the way. So we have a high school mentor program where the high school students come over on Thursdays after school for those kids that are in need of ideas. But many of them have done it independently. Yeah.
Tom, this is such a great program. Everything from learning first aid, robots, you name it.
It really is, and it's a really great community idea where the whole community comes out. Last year, through, again, Margaret and Kelly's idea, we brought over the 5th graders. So we had the elementary students, who are going to be our middle school students next year, come in and get to see the science fair. We did a little early opening for them, and they got to be part of the middle school, see what they have in their future when they become our students next year.
And we're sure that once this program ends later today, plans begin for next year.
Oh, they've begun already. Just over there we have a piece of paper of ideas for next year. So yes, it's an ongoing process. It's all year.
It is an ongoing process.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Brains behind the STEAM Fair. We're going to walk around now, talk to some of the young people, and check out some of those exhibits right now on Spotlight on Mayapack Schools. One of the more practical projects at the STEAM Fair, life-saving. Mike Revinson is with us here, of course, and Mike teaches the EMT course at Mayapack High. And why is this so important that young children, 5-, 6-year-olds, learn this technique?
But everyone should be able to do some basic things to help save a life. The more people that know how to help someone who's been choking or in cardiac arrest, respiratory arrest, we can have more lives saved rather than have a not so good of an outcome.
And you want to introduce a special young lady over there, don't you?
Absolutely. This is Samantha Chipman. She's one of our EMT students this year, also in the BOCES Nursing Assistant Program, one of our up-and-coming EMTs.
Samantha, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Why is this such an important part of your life?
Because I like to help people, so I want to help save people and be firsthand at the scene and everything like that.
I don't know, before we went on the air, you were telling me that this is in your family.
My mom's a LPN nurse, and my aunt, I think, was an RN.
And this is going to be your future.
Yeah, I guess.
You have a future budding EMT.
Yeah, and a medical assistant, too.
You keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And thank you. Well, the sign behind me says, does chocolate make you smarter? Let's find out. No, same old thing. Does chocolate make you smarter?
It does, by actually 10%, because I gave a test to my friend test subject 1. I gave him a test before chocolate, and that was his grade. And then I gave him a test after chocolate, and he got 10% higher because of the cocoa beans in chocolate. Cocoa beans have caffeine in them, which in a matter of 15 minutes when they get into your bloodstream and go up to your brain, that makes you like smarter and more on task.
So in 15 minutes, I'm going to be a genius.
Yeah.
Who did you work with to come up with this great project?
I actually worked with a girl from the high school named Rebecca.
So you worked with some high school students?
Yeah.
Was that cool?
Yes, it was cool. They were very helpful.
Do you want to become a scientist someday?
Actually, I do.
You do? What do you want to major in? What advance do you want to come up with?
Probably maybe a chemist.
We have a future budding chemist over here. You know something? I feel smarter already. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Lucia, one of the budding stars at the STEAM Fair. Layla, Kira, and Molly are with us, and the project is called What Do You See? Ladies, what do you see?
So right now we're testing if right or left brain sees something different. So we're showing a series of images with two different pictures, and right now if you're right or left-handed, you're seeing the opposite picture.
We understand you worked a lot with your teachers on this project.
Yes, we've been working for a few months on this project, and we go a lot in the morning for at least an hour every day. Yeah, we've been working really hard on it. Yeah.
And why? Why did you guys do a project so interesting like this one?
Because we wanted to show people that we wanted to be creative and that we were devoted to and we love science, and we wanted to have a fun experiment and have a fun time, more importantly.
And some good feedback from your teachers as well.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Should we go inside and check it out?
Sure.
Let's do it right now. Oh.
Okay, and we're in.
So up here on the screen is one of our images. So you could either see a duck or a bunny, and 155 right-handers saw the bunny and only 20 saw the duck. And it's opposite for left-handers. So they're seeing opposite things. Because if you're right-handed, you actually have a left brain.
So we would ask most people if you see a tree or animals, and most people that are right-handed would see the tree, and most people that are left-handed would see the animals, because if you look at the graphs, they all see opposites. So right now our project has been working because everyone sees opposite things. And then we have one more picture.
So for the pictures, in some of them, so like this one, you could either see the young lady looking the opposite way or the witch looking down. So, so we decided to get a tent and a projector because people are more focused in here and it can be more quiet. So instead of being out there, they'll be more contributed to actually listening instead of just,
And also the projector, one of our teachers lent this projector to us.
So our teachers helped us a lot.
Yeah, they really did. So the projector doesn't work as well if it's brighter out, so we decided if we use a tent, it'd be darker, and then that'd be easier for people to see the pictures better and not be as confused.
Thank you.
Put that first one up again, just for the heck of it.
The duck or the bunny?
Yeah. Now that's a duck.
It's also a bunny.
It's also a bunny,
If you're right-handed, you can be.
but I'm left-handed.
Okay, so you would see...
So you saw the duck.
I saw a duck. Is that right? Is that what
Yeah.
I saw a bunny.
Did you really?
You're right-handed and you're right-handed.
That's
So
incredible.
you guys see opposite things.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it could be
That
the
really is amazing.
bunny's ears
Yep.
or the duck's beak.
That's amazing. James Biocchini is a special star here at the STEAM Fair. The reason I say that is because James was last year's winner, went on to a regional competition, and he brought home the bronze medal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that mean to you? Going on, winning the STEAM Fair a year ago, going on to regional competition like that, and almost coming in top.
It felt good. It's a great accomplishment for me, and I want to be a civil engineer when I grow up. So this showed that I can do well in competition and move on.
What is your project about this year?
This year I'm improving from last year's project. This year I 3D printed blades, and I tested them using the 3D printer. Kept my experiment constant, and I used the tachometer, which measures rotation per minute for me. So this year I improved from last year, keeping everything more constant.
Where do you get ideas like that to come up with an interesting project?
Well, where I ski, Jiminy Peak, they have wind turbines. They're 100% solar power or wind power. So I wanted to see if the wind turbines that they're using are correct.
After the project today, then what?
We'll see. If I win, I'll move on. If I don't, I'll just try and improve for next year.
What grade are you in, by the way?
8th.
8th grade. You have quite a future, young man.
Thank you.
Well, keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Jimmy, last year's Steam Fair winner and third place winner in the regional competition. Global warming is the topic of this conversation, and we're here with Superintendent DiCarlo, who'll be with us in just a moment. Also, three lovely young ladies. We have Catherine, Stephanie, and Betziata. Ladies, why did you decide on global warming?
Well, we decided in global warming because it was a topic that we were all interested in, and we wanted to inform the public more about it.
We understand your friends over here don't speak much English, and you help translate for them.
Yeah,
Must be very exciting for you.
yeah.
Superintendent DiCarlo, you know, beautiful young ladies over here, global warming, worldwide concern, right here in Mayapack.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that from their countries, especially, like you were from Guatemala, see? We were talking, estamos hablando en español, and she was explaining to me that it's, you know, relatively the same degrees more or less. There's some hot days, but it's usually always hot. And then they did an experiment when they were in Guatemala that they took un huevo, an egg, and they put it on the ground and outside, and within 10 minutes it was cooked. So how more carbon dioxide actually makes it more hotter, and that the hotness is really affecting the whole entire world, and that she gave an example of where they were in Guatemala before she came here, how impacting it is on the people at Guatemala.
Translate for me, how long has our friend been in the United States?
Dice que cuánto tiempo has estado en los Estados Unidos.
9 meses.
9 months.
9 months.
9 months,
9 meses,
wow, that's wonderful. And you're from where?
She's from El Salvador.
El Salvador. And how long are you in the United States?
1 year.
1 year. You like it here in the United States?
Yeah.
Do you miss El Salvador?
Yeah.
Have you been home at all, back and forth?
I think. Maybe.
But what's so interesting is you'll see we have, you know, one of the students who's been here for a while, and then melding the vocabulary, you know, a little bit about global warming is universal all over the country, and how through learning and using vocabulary, you start to learn not only from an academic point of view, but you're learning vocabulary of the new country. So being able to have the students that have been here for a while become kind of like pseudo-ambassadors is really what it's all about.
Ladies, keep up the good work. Congratulations on this amazing project.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Anthony, do you like a hot shower?
Oh my gosh, you better believe it. It actually invigorates me. I enjoy it. I love to let the hot water run on my neck and my back because sometimes they're sore. So yeah, I do like a hot shower. Very much
Madison,
so.
is that good for Mr. DiCarlo's health?
No, it's not good for his hair.
Oh, his
see?
hair.
All right, there you go. Notice I don't have a lot.
Why not?
Because his hair will be frizzy with hot water.
Interesting. And why does that happen, Madison?
Because if you have like the same temperature of water, which is 104, and you added up all of the frizziness, it would be 4% that your hair would be frizzy.
So Madison, why did you decide to have this as your project? Like, what interested you to choose this topic?
Because my sister Rachel has really, really like poofy hair, and she hates when it's like so frizzy, and she's trying to get ready for like a dinner. So I wanted to help her out with that.
So what should the temperature then be? How cold should it be?
It should be 58 degrees because then the average frizziness would be 3.625.
Very interesting.
58's too cold for me for a shower.
I know. So I guess that's why when people go into the ocean, especially up here in the summertime, it's not that bad because the weather is colder. Opposed to if you went maybe down to the Caribbean where it's like bathroom water, that would be somewhat the same thing. Very interesting.
Why did you decide on this project?
Excuse me, what'd you say?
Why did you decide on this? How warm should your shower be?
Because of my sister. Yeah.
Here.
Oh, the poofy hair. Okay.
Great job.
You have beautiful hair.
Thank you.
Great job, Madison.
One of the many interesting projects here at the Steam Fair. As Anthony often says, the Mayapack Way. And this is the Mayapack Way.
Yeah, it's become an incredible yearly type of a tradition here at the middle school, and you'll see every year it's growing. I mean, there are more and more people that are coming out. We're right now in the room where kids can actually walk around, with the high schoolers and really do some experimentation, hands-on type of things. The competitions in the other room, it's a part of what we do. And what's really important about this, Eric, is as you know, as a part of the bond, we really are enhancing our program, especially as they're leaving the middle school, doing Project Lead the Way at the high school, actually retroing rooms that are going to be Project Lead the Way classrooms full of experimentation about development, college and career ready, computer science, engineering, mathematics, science. And so, the STEAM Fair leads into that. So we're really, really excited about it.
Well, it was so exciting, too, with the young people were telling us today how they worked with high school children,
Yeah.
how they work with their teachers. This is a community effort.
So all the research says you learn more from actually learning from others and really being involved and listening with your contemporaries. So when kids are learning from each other and sitting down and problem solving, and the students from the high school coming down and working with the middle schoolers, that's the enrichment of education. And it's great. The kids love it at the high school, the middle schoolers love it, and it's a part of, like you said, the Mahopac way.
And true, the foreign language students, Putnam County's newest citizens, taking part in this as well.
Yeah, I mean, what's great to see, and as we saw in the clip, how important it is that language is universal, and academics, everybody learns about sciences, about other things in the other countries of the world, and how to be able to come in and have kids that have been here for a while work with our newer kids. The same way you talked about the high schoolers working with the middle schoolers in the science projects, they're working with each other every day and getting more and more familiar with the English language.
And you can see the accomplishment, the
Yeah,
smiles
and
on their faces.
Correct, which is what it's all about, really. Because if you feel good about what you're doing, you want to do it more. That's really what it's all about.
Well, it's been a great STEAM Fair, another success in Mahopac. The winner, you want to know who the winner was, right? Well, our good friend Stash, producer, director, cameraman, you name it, he's putting on the bottom of the screen right now the name of that winner. Congratulations, one and all. Well, it was a good show.
It was, as it always is every year. And Eric, thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
No, but that STEAM Fair is truly amazing.
Yeah, you see though the time and the energy and the inventiveness,
Yes,
which is a good
yes,
word that
yes,
goes into
yes.
it with the kids and the projects that they're doing.
We talk about February, and you say to yourself, wow, the school year is half over. That means the budget process begins already for next year, as does the school calendar.
Yeah, so we'll be getting to the public February. The board will be adopting next year's calendar so that parents can see, what the dates are and what days we have vacation and days we start school. I can tell you right now, next year Labor Day's late, so it'll be a later start to the school year. But we've kept some of the things that we put in this year, which I think the public was very happy with certain days and holidays and weeks. So I think it's a very fair calendar. Now, on that note, we're at the end of January. So far, so good with snow days. But as we know, out there in the community, the wild card is always March and sometimes the beginning of April. So we just continue as every week goes by and there's not a snow day.
Thank
That's
you,
a
Lord.
good thing. Right. That's a good thing as
That's
we
a
go
good
through
thing.
that. Very
What about
much so.
sports?
Yeah, so believe it or not, the winter season, Eric, is probably the most interesting because you stop for the holiday, you have midterms, which we have now, and then you're in the end of the season.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, peaks and valleys. I mean, recently our girls varsity basketball team had an incredible game against Lords, who's 10th ranked in the state. We lost by 2 points. We played an incredible game. I believe at this point in time, they're 8-4. They're playing really well. Boys basketball is around 500. We've had a lot of success recently.
Wrestling?
Wrestling is doing really well. Wrestling, actually, we had a big win last week against Arlington, and we're one win away from the league championship, and of course, it's against Carmel. It always works out that way. And bowling, we're doing very, very well. Skiing. I mean, we started modified sports with the boys and girls basketball. They're just starting out because they're always a little bit later. But, come out and watch some of the end of the season games. And then, of course, go onto the website. It's so important when we get to the playoffs, which is the sectionals, to come out and support our teams. Because once you get into the playoffs, as we know, looking at the sports, anything is possible to happen. So I'm excited about our programs, our athletic programs, and especially, our student athletes. Again, you'll see once this season is over how many of our teams qualified for recognition on scholar athlete teams, and that's what we pride ourselves here at Mahopac about, the student aspect of it first, and then the athletes, and how, as you can see, by 96% of our students graduating, it's a tribute to what we do here at Mahopac.
As we always like to bring you a little bit of community information, Think Spring, Cornell Cooperative Extension, is having a fishing clinic in June, age 7 to 14-year-olds at the county park, and they're urging people to sign up and register now.
Yeah, we talk about the state of Minnesota being the state of lakes.
Mhm.
Well, Putnam County is the state of lakes. There's a lot of beautiful lakes and things that I don't think sometimes we realize are
right.
available to us, and I think they're really, the Cornell Cooperative Extension is trying to promote that. It's a relaxing sport.
Yeah.
It's wonderful for kids. Again, we talked about learning how to do it early on. It's a great lifelong
Did you go
sport.
fishing as a kid?
No, I did not go fishing as a kid.
You go fishing as an adult?
You know why? I can't sit still. So fishing is not for me. Yeah, fishing's not for me. And people that know me know that I can't sit still, so
Ice
it's not for me.
fishing.
There you
Ice
go.
fishing does nothing for me. I'm sorry about that. But fish,
Listen,
we can walk
there you
around
go.
with,
I know. There you go. Unbelievable.
Anyway, if you're interested in registering, call Cornell Cooperative Extension at 278-6738. That's a potpourri of activities
There
we
you go.
talked about today.
Very, very much so. And again, Happy New Year to everybody. Peace and health in 2020.
Okay, so the Superintendent of Schools, Anthony DiCarlo. I'm Eric Rose. Thank you, Sash. We thank you one and all for joining us for this edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. Until next time, bye-bye now.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mahopac.k12.ny.us.